Ooh, wow. Okay, so I only just downloaded this MIDI OSF. I haven't heard it through this plugin before. Picking up on an emulation problem. Yeah, something's going on with that. That person's... Yeah, Alienware has never been good. Alright, hey. As most people already know coming in here. And by the way, it's uncommon for me to have this many people halfway through my setup phase. I'm getting a little bit of an early start on Spooktober because I know last year I waited until October to start streaming Bloodstained, and then I was streaming it till the middle of December. So you know what that means. I'll show you what that means. That means it is time to put up the decoration. Ready? Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, I should have warned everybody that this was going to be that spooky. Alright, let's make sure this is actually gonna work. I hope I'm not gonna need R3. Yeah, that played a little bit wonky through Winamp, sorry. What are you gonna do? I mean, even in its purest form, even through a teeny little GBA speaker, I mean, it was still a Game Boy Advance, what do you want? So yeah, I know I've threatened to before. I have over the last few years streamed my first exposure to a few Castlevania. A couple of years ago, I played Aria of Sorrow on the GBA, which was my first ever full Castlevania game. I enjoyed it pretty thoroughly. I liked Aria a lot. Then the following year, I played Bloodstained, which, as we know, is pretty much Castlevania, except it's alchemy now instead of Belmont. Enjoyed that a lot too. Played some of that in my own time. Played a little bit of randomizer. They added that in. Good shit. So I guess I'm just playing through the Castlevania series in order of descending goodness now, because it is time to put up the to stream. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like I'm not qualified enough on the subject to say if it's really the most beloved Castlevania. But from my outsider's perspective, it sure seems to be. Ken says, turns out all the best Castlevania games are the ones where you don't play as a Belmont. Wow! Holy crap, that was amazing. Well, this game's already good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this just for some PS1 2D action. I know I've talked about that before. How the console, oh, these fonts. The console was meant for 2D graphics, which is why Mega Man X4 looks goddamn amazing. Select your destiny. TechPain says, Symphony of the Night is basically the Ocarina of Time of the Castlevania series. Well put. Yep, that's a pretty good way to say it. Oh, my Glavis. Like, I can barely read these words. Why did name change bring up my memory card and then do nothing? Yeah, alright, I guess I won't worry about that for right now. So, let's see, what was the last Castlevania game before this one? Oh yeah, okay, so you established a save here first. Gotcha, my bad. That is a fancy-ass Z. It's not going to show that as my name, is it? That, like, Alucard isn't going to be named Z? 7 exclamation points? I'm just going to assume. Journey back to 1972 and the Transylvanian something. So the last one before this was probably Super Castlevania 4. There was also Bloodstained on the Genesis, so the point is, this was another one of those huge mid to late 90s leap forwards. Yeah, we'll go with that, in technology. Like, holy crap, all this FMV, all this super glossy Castlevania on a console that's gonna let them show all the blood they want. I can see how this at the time must have been a huge deal for Castlevania fans. Oh, look at this. Once again, just like Mega Man Legends, I'm enamored with how PS1 this is. This is great. Nico says, Rainbow, who is half asleep, is mumbling, no, the last one was Rondo of Blood, now I know. Rainbow Cemetery, I know. Big fan of these here, Castlevania. Yeah, even during the FMV, they could barely bother to texture that castle. It was wonderful. Alright, so here I am. Richter Belmont. Just give me a second to familiarize myself with my controls. I go and I attack stuff with the whip. Alright. Good. I got a cross. An actually cross-shaped cross. Because we're not Nintendo anymore. Nico says you'll actually find the origin of their name in this exact game. There was a track called Rainbow Cemetery. Oh, now I know. There he is. This is an extremely...
Monster. You don't belong in this world.
It was not by my hand that I'm once again given flesh.
Oh my god.
I was called here by humans who wish to pay me tribute.
Tribute? You steal men's souls and make them your slaves.
Perhaps the same could be said of all religions.
All
Words
religions.
are as empty as your soul. Mankind ill needs a savior such as you.
What is a man?
There it
A miserable little pile of secrets.
He said the word.
But enough talk. How about you?
I didn't know he threw the chalice while saying the what is a man. Ouchie. Oh, I see. I picked up holy water. So much for my cross being cross hint. So yeah, speaking of PS1 as hell. God, that voice acting. Hi, Ollie. All of this music is a delight. Oh, that's okay. I didn't know that move from the Smash Brothers. Cool to learn the origin of that kick-ass freaking slide jump. All right, dude. I'm glad I'm coming around to this. I feel like I'm gonna have some fun with this. I know I'm gonna get frustrated with it here and there, but I think it'll be worth it overall. Dracula's really half-assed in this fight. It's like Dracula doesn't even really want to be an evil vampire overlord guy. I feel like this is one of those cases where the story will proceed regardless of the outcome of this battle. And says this is just flat out the end boss Rondo of Blood, full stop. Neat. Alright. Oh boy, yeah, he's taking some abuse though. Oh, it's so PS1. Ooh. Who's Victor? Sorry, what? Who are you? The turtles? Lend me your power. I get the hyper beam now, right? Ooh. The baby. Did it.
It cannot be!
Castlevania's ass got so kicked he could never be captured on film again. It was Richter Belmont, the legendary vampire hunter, who succeeded in finally ending the menace of Count Dracula, Lord of the Vampires, who had been brought back from the grave by the Dark Priest's shaft. However, one night 4 years later, under the glare of a full moon, Richter mysteriously vanished. With no idea of where to begin in her search, Maria Renard set out to look for him. I almost said Maria. It was then that fate intervened. Castlevania, that's the name of this video game. The castle of Dracula, which is rumored to appear once every century, suddenly materialized from out of the mist as if to show her the way. Meanwhile, powerful forces were struggling for the soul of a man named Alucard. The very same Alucard who had teamed up with Trevor Belmont to battle his immortal father, Count Vlad Tepes Dracula. Alucard, in order to purge the world of his own cursed bloodline, has submerged his vampiric powers and entered into what is supposed to be an eternal slumber, but now he is awake and aware of the evil once again at work in his homeland. The time has once again come for the forces of good and evil to engage in their ancient battle. Dracula's castle beckons for you, and no man can say who shall emerge victorious. That little girl was Maria Renard, right. I can only imagine the hype for this at the time, yeah. This must have been how I felt about Ocarina when that came out in 1998. If I were a Castlevania fan. Must have been incredible. Also, I think it's pronounced Tepesh, even though it's an S. Look at him go! Brilliant. I don't have a whip. Where's your whip, Alucard? Alright, yeah, so, okay, I have a shield, though. I'm cool with that. But shield! Shield was not effective against Wolf. Alright, none of my other buttons are doing anything cool. Shield was effective? Oh yeah, I guess I'm not hurt. Significantly. Well, those guys love to die. It says you can always throw it away, be a drama queen. Can I? This is cool. Alright, this is my level up. Oh, you mean what? Gotcha. Yeah, I only took 1 damage to the shield. Gotcha. I actually have very few expectations as to this game's soundtrack. Surprisingly enough, I have not familiarized myself with it much. But I expect it to be good. That's my one expectation. Well, this is very Aria of Sorrow right here. I remember these guys. In a very similarly shaped room, for that matter. So Alucard's actual... Oh, the music stops on the... That's dumb. Alright. Alucard's actual name. Okay. That must be for your, like, permanent upgrades if you want to toggle those off. Oh, I see. I have a right hand and a left hand. Okay. Oh, I can change my window color? I was trying to say trivia. Alucard's full name is, Adrian Fahrenheit Tepesh. But he started calling himself Dracula. I mean, yeah, Dracula. Ah, it is me, No. He went by the name Alucard when he made the decision to oppose his evil dad. Now you know. Eco says, fun fact, this menu is unfinished. They just forgot to finish it. Wonderful. Yeah, here's what I was looking for. Alright. Mother's family heirloom. Alucard is wearing a scary helmet, not pictured. Alucard male. Black cape for vampires. This is wonderful. I do have a Folly Downy stroke, huh? Except it's specifically like when he's actually it's down while falling. Okay. Ouchie. What did I do? Okay. Sorry, I'm still just, like, familiarizing myself with how to do things. Zof. Alright, there's my map. Okay. I'm getting my head around this game bit by bit. Alrighty. Can't get back up that way. Yep, I know enough about this game to know that to do this game quick, fast, good, optimal. You just go backwards all day. Oh, okay, hold on. I'm not having yet figured out the menu at the top of the I mean my status at the top of the screen yet either. What's the blue bar? Because it doesn't appear to be health. Get out of here. Oh, that's right. Thanks for pointing that out, Cans. Alright. This blue is magic. Okay. Is he gonna say the other one? No, this one's death.
Alucard, what is your business here?
I live here.
I've come to put an end to this.
Still befriending mortals. I'll not ask you to return to our side, but I demand you cease your attack.
Nah.
I will not.
You shall regret those words. We will meet again.
Oh, you stole the mom's sword. You bastard. I just have Alu Fist now? Yep. Alucard had the Samus Aran moment even though this is his first game. As playable, man. As far as I know. Only says, I know you said Alu Fist, but I heard Owl Fists. They might be Owl Fists. They're only a few pixels big. Death is the reason you don't get to do New Game Plus this out of the gate, says Technic. Guess I'll just have to punch skeletons. Kind of rube. Alright, there we go. Oh, yeesh. These are some Bomberman 64-ass menu sounds. Okay, so I have 2 equipable hand slots, and those go to square and circle. That's pretty neat. Was he playable previously? See, I don't even know. Wait, I guess he must have been playable in Castlevania 3, wasn't he? I don't know a lot about the series, really. Red Rust. Slightly a rusty red sword. It's two-handed. That sounds fun. Wow. As Tomo points out, Death didn't drink my potion. Fool did not know the true source of my powers. I'm causing physical pain to Rainbow Cemetery with my lack of Castlevania knowledge. Afraid I don't think I can apologize for it. Contain Cube of Zoe. What is Cube? Who is Cube? Why is Cube? Causes items to materialize. Alright. Ollie says the only Castlevania knowledge that matters from now until forever is that they turn Death into a shit poster. I hope you mean that in a good way, because he really was great. Probably the thing I remember best from the entire Castlevania show is Death going, is there a point to this? Are you dictating your fucking obituary to me, Belmont? Alright. I'm being dumb. Alright, here we go. Let's go this way. Do all Castlevania games have, like, such banger music in their intro areas like this? My sample size so far would suggest yes. The statue said Booba. Can't do that on Nintendo. I think I'm gonna switch back to the short sword, because this sword is annoyingly slow. Ooh! I mostly enjoy the Netflix series as well. There were times when it was being too Netflix. I basically didn't like season 3 at all. Like, season 3 could mostly have been one episode. But, for the most part, it was a worthwhile trip. The first couple of seasons, especially. Like, honestly, I wouldn't blame you if you skipped the third and fourth seasons, but, it was definitely a good show. For the most part. Ken says, if you notice potion is in your left-hand menu. Oh yeah, look at that. I didn't really clue in on that. I'm used to... Okay. So, don't push circle until I want to waste my potion. Got it. That's an interesting system. That must be the kind of thing that I've heard about this game, where it has some weird fiddly stuff to it. Well, I can live with that. I have very little idea what I'm doing, really. Leather shield. But, hand. Sickman says, making Dracula such a force of nature, it's so impossible to be reasoned with, and yet also humanizing him perfectly was quite a feat. They really did do an outstanding job on Dracula as a character, yeah. On everybody, really, but especially Dracula. I don't know, I'll just go in directions until something kills me and I get mad and say Scrungus. Oh, you axe guy! Yeah, I think I might kind of dig this two-hand system in this game. That must be why I had a crazy power move with the other sword, because it was the special mom sword. This is just a plain, dumb short sword. Oh, I can strike an awesome vampire pose, though. But, what? Huh? That, how? I have confusion. Okay, that must just be a down elevator. Maybe. Unless... What? What's going on with this thing? Oh, the one... Okay, yeah, something else is a trick. Gotcha. Ah, yep. Okay. That looks like something I'm not supposed to mess with right just now. Where's the save from? Down there? Does saving still restore all my health because I've already gotten beaten up while doing stupid shit? Me. Woot. Eat. Time to find out. Was this the first Castlevania to have, like, the RPG leveling up mechanics as well? Because as far as I know, Castlevania 4 was just a straight linear action game. It was, says Kent. I've gone the wrong way. Wow. I mean, all that guy's blood cut out. No, this is the same place, it's just full of different guys now. First game Igarashi was a part of, says Kans. Alright. Okay, yeah, I just didn't recognize those guys. Ricardo. I need to keep an eye on the time. I got a late start. Yeah, I'll bet you pretty much... Well, hold on. It could also have been a hardware thing. It's possible they just didn't want to develop for the N64, but... knowing how Castlevania as a series and as an IP is... I'm almost sure the reason they went to Sony was so they could get away with the edgier content in this game. Like boob statues and blood outs. Exsanguinations. There was also Castlevania 64, yeah, which was a disaster as far as I know. Full 3D action schlock of some sort. Yeah. Shield is pretty good, man. Yeah, wasn't there... I don't know if there was a Castlevania 64 2 or what they did, but... I do think that was a mistake they made twice. Sword skeleton. Alright, let's quit dicking around and try doing something. Yep. Another red rust. Says, like Mega Man's 3D action became the main attraction while GBA got all the 2Ds and everyone was sad, yeah. Man, I'm used to, like, Axe Knights like that being a much bigger deal at this early phase of the game, but Alucard doesn't give a damn. He's just got, like, a piece of shit, rusty, like, crappy leather stitched together shield, and he's just like, yeah, whatever. I'm Alucard. It's an anagram of I don't give a shit. Ah. Piece of heart. Nico says Alucard is protected by his depression. You know, that would add up. That would explain a lot about my life. I got knives. If I didn't have my trusty knives, I think I'd slit my wrists. Sorry, Ken says Igarashi got the job because he made Tokimeki Memorial one of the most influential dating sims ever. History is weird. Again, TIL? What an educational stream we're having so far. Alright, so... Resist Thunder is also a hand item? I hold it to be... No, it's used to resist Thunder, so it must just be for a period of time. Hey, thanks for coming by. Alright, let's take a look. Yeah, no, nothing special. Check all the walls, check all of them. I'm used... Bloodstained has me spoiled. I'm used to having an on-screen map at all times. What are you? Alright. That is a good voice clip. Clip. That is a good grunt right there. Ah, you stop it. Soup says, look, if dating sims don't get you respected in Japanese game dev, nothing will. That's a good push right there. Well, oh, I see. I don't see. I thought that was it. I've gained the ability to push this, but I know not why. Oh, I see. Ah, clever. I could easily play more Bloodstained. I would, hell, if I weren't streaming this, I might stream a Bloodstained randomized run. I started one, but I didn't finish it because I left, like, do everything as the win condition, and I couldn't get damn Zangetsu toe. I think that was, like, the one thing I was missing to be in go mode. I just plain couldn't find the blasted thing. What did I just pick up a second ago? Boy, I'm, like, especially scatterbrained tonight, sorry. So, it's a big game and there's a lot going on in chat, and, like, I'm being very ADHD. Oh, the cape, there it is. Ken says, I need to stream some Bloodstained sometime. They keep adding, they've added like a guest playable character to that or something, like oh, look at that, my cape actually changed. That's cool. Yeah, they've added some tie-in goodies to Bloodstained of some sort, apparently things I don't know anything about, but still, hey, neat. Still getting updates, I like that. From Child of Light, says Kenneth. Yeah, that was it. I'm on board for a Resident Evil 4 stream, even though I just watched all of Vinny's Resident Evil 4 stream, and I'm playing Resident Evil 4. Like, that's how infectious Resident Evil 4 is. Even despite that saturation, I'm still on board for more Resident Evil 4 content. I think I enjoy watching it more than I enjoy playing it, if I'm honest. There are some parts of it that are wearing on me a little bit. Some boss fights and things of that nature where Resident Evil 4 gets especially video gamey. Some of it gets a little tiresome to me. I was playing earlier, I stopped like in the middle of the minecart sequence because there's a part where they stop you and then drop a million Ganados right on your head. And you have to fight them in like a nothing-sized space, and I'm just like, okay, hold on, who signed off on this? Why did we interrupt awesome minecart sequence with this? Like, you could have just left this on the cutting room floor. This sequence would not have been any worse off. But I mean, for the most part, it's a really good game. What do you want? Yes, the Las Plagas, the plagues. Don't forget about the Los Gigantes, which is to say, the giants. Honestly, even I, for a second, thought about streaming Resident Evil 4, but I think, like, as soon as I was thinking that, Kans mentioned he was thinking about it, so I was like, you know, like, Kans had that one. And apparently Kans was thinking about playing this. There it is, okay. But I think I knew, like, as soon as I was done streaming Bloodstained last year, that my next Spooktober stream is probably gonna be this. 5 had co-op. I only played a little bit of it. I remember getting frustrated at not having ammo for any weapons. And also I got a headache. So. What in the... Both of you there, for a second I thought we were getting ready to have a conversation. Dude, this music. Dude, Past Zeor is loving this game's soundtrack so much. Oochie. Right, no, it's, okay, it's not triangle. Ooh. Ooh. Who made this shield? It's amazing. It looks like it's made of buttholes, but it's incredible. Eco says, this is where I got stuck and stopped, unfortunately. Eco can now enjoy Symphony of the Night vicariously through Zeor. That is why I'm here. Ooh, here. Aye. Ooh. Wait. Ooh. This game's taking it easy on me. I shouldn't be winning after taking that many hits. Dude, nice, Demon's Crest death animation there. Alright. Soup says now you know how they record the enemy grunts. Dude, I could make a killing in that business. That's what I need to do for a demo reel. Just record myself going, people would be like, hire this man. You will be perfect for Fuck You and Melt Simulator 2013. I'm in that place where, like, should I go back to the other save room, or? Nah. Oh, I'm out of hearts. What is that sound? Why did this elevator go whoop, 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 like bubbles? Where am I? Why am I? What's going on? Help. Alucard, I'm very confused. Sunglasses, nice! Hello, Tim. Oh yeah. Money and girls, money and girls. Oh yeah. Ken says, well, I'm planning on starting Resident Evil 4 next week as a little October breather from Shin Megami Tensei 5. Cool. I don't know what it is about Resident Evil 4 that has that staying power. Like, even, like, during Vinny's stream, like, he and people in his chat were saying things to the effect of, like, this seems familiar. Good enough. Like, I started playing this game again as soon as I finished it. What is this? I mean, alright. Let's give it a whack. Oh, hey. Here I am again. Hope. Alright. I'll give you such a poke. Yeah. I'll just go to the other thing. I'll make it up there. It's fine. I got 88. I'm fine. Yeah, so if I get another Basilard. Extra stab. Kinda like having the shield for right now, though. This thing's doing me good. Alucard's turning around animations are throwing me off a little bit. Because as Alucard just bursts into Dracula's chambers with 2 knives stabbing wildly. Shut up, Dad! This is a wacky-ass save room. I kinda like it. Hi. How you doing? Yeah, saying like a DPS option in early game is to skip the sword and just dual weld fists. That makes sense. Magically sealed. Alright. Woo! For that matter, here, let's just keep going over Castlevania history as a topic. Which was the first Castlevania to actually do, like, the Metroidvania sequence stuff, like, that gameplay loop as we know it. Which is to say, rather than linear action game where you go forwards and stab the guys. Ken says it is in fact this. That was my guess. So this was a huge game. No wonder to this day, people still think pretty highly. Symphony of the Night. Don't think I need a cloth tunic. Rainbow says, Castlevania 2, all caps, lots of exclamation points. That would have been my second guess. I know they did some kind of non-linear things, but... Again, I don't know a ton about early Castlevania. Except that I'm pretty sure most people did not care too much for 2. As Soup says, Castlevania 2 is bad. Yeah. Ken says, yeah, it exists. I forget about it. It must seem like this game invented it, simply because of the much more, I guess, cinematic nature of this, as compared to a funky NES game that nobody really liked. That's interesting. Poke, 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 poke. That is a goofy-ass sub-weapon. So you are the one they call Shaft. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? Poison! Is this salt? Soup says, I would call 2 more RPG progression than Vania progression because, yeah, it was just grinding back and forth, finding bullshit triggers. It is sacred ash, says Kens. Might as well be salt. Why am I all funny colors? Am I still poisoned? No? Can make Alucard strike a much jazzier pose than before. I'm not losing health, though. We're in the marble zone. Oh, stand still so I can throw exploding holy water at you, douchebag. Ah, poison only tanks your damage output, says Tama. Yeah, they really made sure they could throw all the nudie statues they could in here. Question, what was that? Why did I... Was that the poisonware? Oh, what? There's still so much I do not know about this game. Stay tuned for more. Everybody except Zeor knows stuff about Symphony of the Night stream. Ooh, get out of here. Friggin' Fantasia walking end table nonsense. Ika says, apparently somebody else called Zeor TV trying to cramp the real Zeor style. Yeah, they beat me to the name. I don't have an underscore in this in my stream URL by choice. Hi, Rainbow. Rainbow is here to drop the big trivia on us. Secretly, it's called Castlevania because it's a Metroidvania that takes place in a castle. Yeah, clearly Rainbow came here to finally yell at me in person. Totally valid. I don't blame you.
Wait a moment. You seem human, and yet, what do you hear?
What do you hear?
I've come to destroy
That sentence is stupid.
Then we have the same purpose. I'll trust you for now. I'm Maria. Who are you?
You may call me
Not the talkative type, I can
Alucard.
see. Well, perhaps we'll meet again. If you live that long. Farewell.
Bitch, I'm a vamp. No, I'm well, kind of a vampire. I'm a vampire. Details. I'm already way old. What I'm saying. I can just hold the knife. Blade. Ken says, unfortunately, her weird, thinly veiled threats aren't backed up in the OG version of the game. I just saw the clock change and now I'm wondering what time that is displaying. I'm kind of going back this way because I feel like I saw some more map that I want to try and fill in, because that's how you play these games. Pizza time is a good time. It says she is fightable in the Saturn version. Aha. Gotcha. Now I know what you mean. Morning. How can you put this here and not make it a secret? Sorry. I've said it before and I'll say it again. God, this game is just so PS1. Yeah, so probably everybody here already knows this, but yeah, like OD in Bloodstained is in fact voiced by Robbie Belgrade, which is to say the very same voice as this Alucard. That must have been a huge score for the Bloodstained Kickstarter. What is this crap now? Get out of here! Get out of here! Get out of here! Only much older. Oh yeah, for sure. I don't think it hurt his performance, really, being 20 years older, but... So weird that you can hold the button just to hold the knife up. And again, why did my up stance change? Is it because of the weapon? Oh yeah, you know what? I think it is because of my sub-weapon, maybe. Potential, I don't know. That's a guess. Look, I don't know things. I've never played a video game before. What do you want from me? Poke step! There we go. Orb? I'm still disappointed that the music stops when you pause. Alright, so what does orb do? Orb shows enemy damage. Alright. Sporb. I didn't call it a borb because I assumed that maybe it was more of a benevolent orb. So more of a... orb. Alright, so it's a borb. A gorb, perhaps. Yeah, there we go. Orb. What? What are you gonna do with that? I'll go right in the... Okay. Oh, he's gonna kill my ass. Okay. Alright. My knives were not significantly harming him. I didn't really take stock if my weapon was significantly harming him. Okay, yeah, Rainbow was saying this is not recommend leave immediate. That was, in fact, my plan. Yeah. I seem to get one radar jump if I walk off a ledge for it? No, okay. Only if I just barely floated off the ledge, alright. You alright, Rainbow? I appreciate you coming by, but like, don't kill yourself for it. Yeah, keep going this way. Alright. I'm curious when Rainbow Cemetery became a big Castlevania buff, though. Like, is that from the NES days, or did that start with this game, or... just idle curiosity. Because I know in my case I was kind of always a Mega Man fan. Like, I did love Mega Man 2 as a kid. And I played at least a couple of the other ones. So I was always a Mega Man fan, but I really became like a born-again, big-time Mega Man fan when I was like 14, and I got into emulation. You know, not that anybody ever does that. Especially not me. Name says this one, so yeah, Castlevania, Rainbow says Castlevania 2, also known as Best Game. Alright, so... now I know not to trust anything Rainbow says. Iko says, it's funny because my whole identity started with Jax, now I kind of look at them like, oh! Yeah. Really not as big a Mega Man fanatic as I used to be, as I'm sure most people know. But, when I stream Mega Mans, I still certainly have a lot to say about them. It's one of my favorite things about my streams of yore. Like when I did my Mega Man X marathon and I was like 22 hours in and playing Mega Man X5. One of my least favorite Mega Man games. I still had so much to say about it throughout. Zero says, it's a good game, unduly maligned by the internet. There, I said it. Whew. Defending that hill must use a lot of ammo. That's probably like me saying that X5 was slightly worse than X6. That's probably not a popular opinion. Because X6 was some stank. But I have numerous reasons for actually liking X5 even slightly less than X6. Doesn't look like I can get up there. Technically it says, hey, I mean, we thought Zelda 1 was good once upon a time. Brutal. Alright, we all have our spicy gamer opinions. Yep. Soup says, look what you did. It's bad take stream now. Uh-huh. Everybody get out your dumb gamer opinions in chat. Let's hear them. What did I say? What in the sweaty... Oh, it's a Bible. It's a Bible. Soup says, 3D was a mistake. That's my spicy take. Not sure if I would word it quite so strongly, but I definitely do believe that the 90s leaned way too hard into 3D. When, again, we had this PS1, which was so good at 2D games like this. Like, it is a shame we did not get more 2D on this console. Take me nice says, I'm just glad 2D is allowed again. Yeah, for sure. Can you imagine, like, a 3D version of Hollow Knight? Fuck that. Like, what would Hollow Knight be if not for those hand-drawn graphics? Ken says, I like Lost Magic, a game so thoroughly hated it's some top 10 worst DS games. Let's see, what bad game do I like? Zero says, Soviet Strike on the PS1 has some of the best cinematic acting in a video game ever. That was the one where we had some relative in there, right? I don't remember exactly how he's related to us, but... Oh, wow. This is... Look at you. Our mom's cousin is in Soviet Strike, yeah. There's a fact about Zero you probably didn't know. My mom's cousin is in a PS1 game about being a kick-ass attack helicopter. The Bibble. I love how the Bibble just makes an impact sound when it smacks something. Like, there's nothing really extremely magical going on there. It's just blap, Bibble bonk. I'm just noticing the eyeball wobbling around behind that window, and that's curious. Doesn't seem to be attached to anything as far as I can see, just a hovering eyeball. Zero says he had several small movie and TV bits. His biggest recurring role was on some Nickelodeon show called The Secret World of Alex Mack or some shit. I remember that title. Like, I'm almost from the age group that would have been into that. Ouch. Whoa, stone. End of game. Game over. Dickman says, I used to freaking watch that show. Well, there you go. Now you know. My mom's cousin was in that show. And in Soviet Strike for the PS1. Was it PS1 or was it 2? Blur. There we go. The power of Jimmy compels it. Actually, I half wonder if that's a Green Day reference. Jimmy, that is. I'm gonna keep the bibble. He was I want to assume it was Surf 2, end of a trilogy, Project Metal Beast. He was in an episode of Cheers. It was better than zero chance you've all seen my mom's cousin at some point. The Outer Wall. It's a zircon. It's a ring. Salable. You could make salad out of this ring. Ha 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 ha. Best funny. Good best streamer joke 20 XT7. I always like edge of the world environments such as this. Gold standard still being the Outer Wall from Cave Story. Yeah, I have no idea where I'm going or what I'm doing. At this stage, I'm just going in places and doing stuff. I think that's pretty much how you play these games correctly. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. That struck a nerve. Here are the Medusa Heads. Missed could pass. Picked up a leaf. Ah. I feel a little underprepared for this. I can't one-shot Medusa Heads. That's gonna be a problem for me. Alright. Okay, you can knock that off. It's been an awfully long time since I found a save room, though. I don't love the way this is going. Right. I lost my bibble. Save point in the hallway going left says rainbow. You may have to be a little more specific. The upways ones, or... I'll take the axe. Above. Okay, thank you. Ooh. Hold the phone a second. I only just noticed a little CD icon in the middle of this fancy naked big booby statue room. Like, look at all the grandiose architecture and beautiful art on display here in Castlevania, home of Dracula event. Also, we're loading from the video game disc. Hold still a second. Whee! Yeah, I can take these guys. Eventually. There we go. I poke it. Look out, I'm poking. Poke, 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 poke. Appreciate you pointing out the save room to me. You know, I don't like to be handheld too much in these games, but in cases like this, I am sensitive to losing progress to stupid things that ambush me before I can save. As we learned during my Mega Man Legends stream. Blup! Sorry, that's such a good one. Blup! I'll just keep going this way, I guess. I'm just Alucard. It's my dad's house. Uh-oh. What? You Alucard? How? Me Alucard? What mystery? Stranger. Okay, he's jacking me up here. Alright. Yeah, well. We will now see who is the more poke. Ouchie. Ooh, hey. Oh, you cheating son of a... Really outranging me with whatever weapon he has. Hey, fake Alucard, I have to ask you something. My takeaway from this battle is Alucard is weak against Axe element. Yeah, alright, sure. Disk drive loading sound effects. I was all, hey Alucard, let me axe do something. He was all like, oh Alucard, that is very knife of you. Alright, I'm just gonna go die. Thanks for watching. Says this is how you're famous on Twitch. It's the secret to my success. Now you finally know how to be the best internet. Ooh, Gladius. Don't need to describe a Gladius to me. I know what a goddamn Gladius is. That's some good sprite work though. I just really enjoy that animation. And says, so once you hit that long hole with the green idiots, the whole game opens up into a mostly directionless square you're free to explore. Yeah, hell, I feel like I'm already in that phase. I have very little direction in what I'm doing. Oh! Okay. Oof! Oi! This is so much slower than the other thing. Alright. You know what? Screw it. Let's try this out. In the Basilard. Yeah, this isn't really helpful. Let me try the Gladius on a little bit more. Given that experiment, I don't expect to do a ton of dual welding. Hold on, what happens if I hold down the button? Nothing? I don't get to pose with my Gladius? So I'm just looking at the after images after Alucard. Like when he starts moving, he does this ghost vampire scoot thing, and then he just runs. Yes, ghost vampire. Electric dinosaur desperado vampire. I don't mind the after images, maybe I'm used to them from all the dashing in Mega Man's X4 through X6. Like, honestly, I don't notice them, mostly. Alright. That's a big-ass move. barely. Good enough. Sword is significantly slower than the Basilar, that's fine. It has much better reach. One thing I liked about the randomizer mode of Bloodstained, see, first I was all like, I had to ask you a question, and then the other card was all like, that's knife of you, and then these guys showed up and they were like, wait, what was I gonna do? I'm just stealing these jokes from Nedroid, by the way. Blame him, not me. I'm just the guy parroting some bullshit I read on the internet. Oh, actually, the sword's probably good enough to deal with those Medusa Heads. Okay, you big reach with the sword you have. Okay. Oh, the sword here now. In my stuff. Time to. Okay. Not die. You just barely. Okay. Hey, how's it going, ladies and germs? I'm on the internet. How are you? I'm gonna go back to the save room so I don't die. What am I looking at here? Metroid 1 style gameplay here for you. Yeah, looks like there's kind of a lot of side paths branching from this location. Morty. Alucard. In any case, I am enjoying things about this game rather a lot so far. Don't think it's going to be too hard for me to stream. End of sentence. Thomas says, as ever, the strongest thing a foe can do is be in your personal space. Combat technique developed by, maybe not invented by, but certainly perfected by Dr. Wily and his evil robots, whom he programmed to stand inside Mega Man's hitbox until he was dead. But I don't know, I'll try going up, see what we're getting, just doing, go directions, find stuff, yeah. Find more orbs. More colorful capes. OD was wearing like a space cape. I really liked the space cape. The long library. Ouch. 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 Uncurse. No, it didn't reduce damage from that, that's for sure. Still experimenting with shield here. There we go. I like the bouncing skull. Good music. I'm just in a part of the castle where I might have to actually focus on, like, being good at... Wait a second, I recognize this room. I think. Feel like upgrading from cloth to, hide to bronze should be worth more than 1 point of defense. I mean, this is even the library. Yeah, I think I recognize the room. What was the reference in the other video game? Looks like all there is here for right now. Flea mans. Get that up. Jeez, I'm like dying again. Whoa. Spooky. What? Cannot use weapon during curse. Thankfully, these guys ate axes. It's the same curse from Majora's Mask. I'm a nerd. Kill the books. Alucard hates literature. Yeah, Rainbow confirms curse is just no weapon. Meh. Yeah, what I'm really killing here is 3D graphics. Get out of here. This is Castlevania. Yep, every 3D book I kill is a shout out to Soup Super. Sooner or later we'll stamp them all out.
It's been a long time, old one.
Oh, it's you, Master Alucard.
Oh my god.
What do you need?
I need your help.
Young Master, I cannot aid one who opposes the Master.
You won't go unrewarded.
Really? In that case, just tell me what you need.
Tactics.
I'm interested in this.
I'm interested in this. What in cow's name am I looking at here?
I'm interested in this.
There he is. Ramagvilla. He's dead now. Maybe. Revives due to blood-soaked bones. Somber. The weak versus holy. Alright, well, this is cool. To learn about all the weaknesses. The legendary creature attacks all invaders. Rainbow says you can buy a pre-recorded pro strategy for bosses you already beat for some reason. Alright. I don't think I want that. I feel like there are better uses for my money. Bone Scimitar. Hold on. Weak versus Furthu. Versus Fire and Thunder, presumably, even though he's a fireball-spitting merman. Alright, I get the idea. Demonic puppet from hell.
I'm interested in this.
I am interested in this, but I have no gems.
I'm interested in this.
Jewel of Open can open locked blue doors. So it looks like I need a couple of these, huh? How much gold do I have? Okay, 2,707. Magic missile. Waka knife. Kinda want a saber, I think. Oh yeah, that would be a big upgrade. Yeah, I'm gonna buy a sword.
Thank you.
Sorry, this guy's voice actor. Sorry. Yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
One of these. Oh, I see. This is not like a once per door consumable. It just opens them. All right, cool. Partial map at the bottom for cheap, says Rainbow. Velvet hat. Yeah, there it is.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for pointing that out. I would probably not even have checked. Contains dark metamorphosis. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this game that seems pretty obscure. Here we go, library card.
Thank you.
And now I'm broke. Alright, good.
Farewell for now.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's much better. Doesn't point out save rooms, though. Enchanted library card. And don't forget about my... forgot about my... Isn't it like the open jewel that I just got? Is that just under my relics now? Yeah. Jewel of Open. Okay. Cool. Using library card warps you back here from anywhere. Excuse me, I have to go to the library. Hello, I am back from the library. Alright, well, yeah, that's handy. Okay, so that one is a one-time use thing. Alright, well. That's a bad way to find that out. Okay. What are you gonna do? You may have mentioned that some things in this game were seeming pretty obscure to me. Alright. In my mind, that's not how library passes work, but also in reality, library passes don't teleport people, so I don't know. Because this is almost as bad as Vinny immediately eating a cyber elf from Mega Man Zero. Yeah, definitely not that bad. At least nobody died as a result of my library pass gaffe. Ouch. Yeah, I can two-shot these guys now. This is an improvement. Yeah, screw this. I need to get back to a save point. Stop! Wait, Beavis! Scrundus! All the books everywhere! What in the hell's going on? Okay. A single book. Look, I was dreaming Gradius 3 again for a second. Level up. Yeah, I'll get some more Dracula bucks somewhere. Buy more library pass. Yeah, still got some things to get used to around here. Somebody left the oven on in here? It says it's okay, they crave the sweet release of death. You like Mr. Meeseeks? Resistance is pain to a Mr. Meeseeks, Jerry. I need to save that I blew 500 Dracula bucks on a library pass that vaporized when I used it. I have 100 health. 3 digits. Was that death animation a little bit different than the other one? Or am I just high? Yeah, okay, so I've been here before. Right. Group says, don't we all lose our library cards? Hell if I know. Who still has a library card? Nobody, because we lost them all. Okay, you cut that out. You cut that out. What do you... Stop it. I don't like this room very much. I think it's stupid. I think you're stupid. Got him. Soup says my library had all the old video games. That's what I used it for. Archive.org really keeping up the tradition, huh? There it is, the wall. Okay, it's not a turkey. Disappointing. Oops. Rainbow says, the secret in here you'll never find by chance if you stand in that hole in the left for like 20 seconds. Alright, I stand. How you doing out there, chat? How's it going, gamers and gamettes? What the hell? Yep, wouldn't have found that up. Jewel Knuckles and Mirror Curus. They sound powerful. Oh yeah. Was there any other thing in the game that was supposed to explain that to me, or is that just an extremely obscure secret? Mist could pass. Oh, I see. So there's another way into this room. So I guess you could probably infer that if you came the other way through it. Like, still, that's goofy. Thanks for pointing that out, though. That's neat. I know there's other space down there for me to explore, but it's about 11, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Decent enough start, though. Stun this. Punch this guy. Punch. Wow! He hates punches. Yeah, there it was again. He emitted like a funny flash when he died. What was that? Alright, well. Stay tuned on Tuesdays throughout Spooktober for more Symphony of the Night. Stay tuned for me starting the stream and then remarking on how I don't remember anything that I was doing or where the hell I was going. You know the drill. So thanks for watching. Not 100% sure what I'm doing tomorrow. I'll think about it. I did have something in mind for tomorrow. I forgot it. Thought it fell right out of the back of my head. Must not have been important. Okay, yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow for something. And do a long division. No, good night.